The Alternative Dig Talk. Real issues, real talk.
Hi Rogers, can I ask you something?
Shoot.
What does corruption mean?
Well, summarily, corruption is abuse of public power for personal gain or for the benefit of a group to which one owes allegiance. For example, when a public office is abused by an official accepting or soliciting a bribe. By the way, private people can be corrupt too, like bribing police officers to escape fines.
Okay. So exactly how does that concern me?
Well, do you pay taxes?
I guess, yeah. What does that have to do with this?
Everything. Because those taxes you pay are supposed to facilitate services you use, like water, electricity, roads construction, medicines in hospitals, name it.
Okay, that is much bigger than I thought. But it can be stopped, right?
Well, yes it can, although it may not be as easy as it sounds. And here is the reason why. Corruption roots are grounded in our country's social, political, economic, bureaucratic traditions and policies.
So, what has kept it going this long? I mean, why don't we stop it?
Well, the main reason why it has been here for so long is because institutions are weak, either as a result of poorly defined ethical standards of public service, weak administrative and financial systems, or ineffective watchdog agencies.
What can we do to stop it?
At a national level, we must focus on strengthening the independence and effectiveness of public institutions that fight corruption. At a personal level, we must commit to never giving a bribe.
I promise I'll never give a bribe.
Well, that's a great decision you have made. Me and you now have to spread this message to all our friends. If we all do our part, corruption will be no more.
This message is brought to you by Alternative Digital. The Alternative Dig Talk. Real issues, real talk.
It's time for the mighty global news updates. Thank you so much for tuning in to the Alternative. My name is Keneth Rubatsimbira Rwemirembe. We are always here Monday to Friday, 8 a.m. to 10 a.m. to give you matters of national importance, give you the updates to make sure you understand what's happening in our country, Uganda, and even outside. Then after the updates, several hosts and guests come in here to delve deeper into topical discussions that are always based on current affairs. So please, if you love matters of national importance, subscribe to this mighty platform. We stream live across all our social media handles at the Alternative Dig Talk. You can always find us there and subscribe, follow us in order to know more about our country and to learn a lot of things. We believe you're having a good day. Good morning, Uganda. Good afternoon, good evening, depending on the time we'll be watching this show. All our shows are always uploaded after this live stream, and if you always miss our live stream, turn on the notification bell such that you do not miss whenever we go live. We have a lot of stories here in our country, Uganda, that have been hitting headlines since this morning and even since yesterday, and we are continuing to find out more about what's happening in our country, and we have to bring it to you and no more delay. Now, yesterday, President Museveni's legal team filed defense against one of the people who were in the presidential race, Robert Kasibante, who had petitioned the High Court regarding the just concluded presidential elections, which Kasibante, Robert says it was not conducted in a free and fair manner as expected, that the NRM government, the NRM team led by President Museveni, tampered with the elections and even gave orders to the leadership of the Electoral Commission, something the NRM team says they have no idea about, that the NRM or President Museveni's team did not interfere with the Electoral Commission. They did not try to sabotage their work, and that the election was conducted in a free and fair way, and that there is no one to blame maybe blaming the president, Yoweri Museveni, and blaming the NRM people for sabotaging the work of the Electoral Commission. Robert Kasibante insists that President Museveni's victory that he was declared with over 70% in the just concluded presidential elections was all not true. He disregards these results, saying that he does not accept what came out of these presidential elections. And President Museveni has continuously distanced himself from having a hand in any violence that was conducted or that was observed during this electoral period. He says that that was done by the security people, and that him as a candidate in the race did not violate any laws, and that everything was done in the right way according to the law and in accordance to all the presidential laws that he had to follow as an individual, that he did not even misuse state resources, which Kasibante says that President Museveni was using state resources to even influence the election results, something he continuously denies and the NRM camp denies. President Museveni now in his defense says that he should be, this petition should be dismissed by the court, and even with costs. That is it. Out of the 8 people that were in this race, Robert Kasibante came 6th, and he says all this was because the election wasn't free and fair, and he calls the court to now call off these the results and reject all these results, such that they can be dismissed, and we probably have fresh elections, or even the victory of President Yoweri Museveni is denied. What do you think about that? Let me know in the comments section. What do you have to talk about it? That is it. The presidential candidate for the National Peasants Party, Robert Kasibante, against President Yoweri Museveni. Now next is Honorable, now the newly elected Lord Mayor for Kampala, Meeya Balimwezo, has said that he has come to serve and not to just promote wars in the city, something he says was one of the factors why Kampala has been behind for so long, and that this time round, Meeya Balimwezo will work hard to make sure the people of Kampala achieve a lot that hasn't been achieved while in the hands of the outgoing Lord Mayor Elias Lukwago. He says he is ready to work for the people of Kampala. He is ready to bring unity in the city and even organize the trade order. He says Kampala city needs a new trade order, and this will help develop the city, something he says he is ready to even cooperate with those from other political parties to make sure that this happens in the right way and there is no disunity, that whatever will contribute to the development of Kampala, capital city, Meeya Balimwezo will do it. If it requires him cooperating with the people from other political parties, he is ready to do that for the good of all the people of Kampala. He asked them to now come and work together, to come and cooperate for the good of all people in the city, and he urged the people to avoid conflicts that limit development in any area. He says that Kampala should not be divided, but instead be united for the good and development for all. That is Meeya Balimwezo, who won the just concluded Lord Mayor elections between him and other people, including the main who has been the who is still the current Lord Mayor, Elias Lukwago. Elias Lukwago accepted defeat and congratulated Meeya Balimwezo, and now Meeya Balimwezo is coming in as the new Lord Mayor for Kampala, capital city. Away from that, now the NUP members in Entebbe municipality condemns the SFC involvement in the elections. The people from the National Unity Platform, especially now in Entebbe municipality, came together yesterday to condemn the acts being done by the security people in these ongoing elections, saying that the involvement of the Special Forces Command, the unit in the the unit in the army that protects the president and other high-profile people in the country, has now disrupted the electoral process, that they abduct and even beat the agents of different politicians in the race, especially from the opposition. The NUP members say one of their own NUP candidates, one of their agents at a certain polling station, identified as John Mosesi, was brutally assaulted by these SFC soldiers. They said now it is time for them to get away from this election, that they are coming in and disrupting every order, and that they are not supposed to be doing that they are continuously threatening NUP supporters, including the agents, that some of the documents they are supposed to be having are always confiscated by these very people while doing their work, something they say has greatly affected them. Now, this comes at a time when we are even talking about the petition from one of the people who were in this presidential race, Robert Kasipante, who's petitioned the Supreme Court regarding this same issue that the NRM government denies. And now these NUP people are saying they are being disturbed and their work disorganized by the security forces, especially the SFC. They are saying that if the president wants to be declared a life president, he should do that instead of organizing elections which are not free and fair. Those were the words from them, but Julius Mchungus, the spokesperson of the Electoral Commission, said whoever has any complaint should refer it to court in order to get justice, that the Electoral Commission is ready to hear them and to support them in any way if they go to court raising their complaints. If it requires the Electoral Commission to answer, they are ready, and that the Electoral Commission remains a transparent body for conducting free and fair elections, and that whoever did not accept the results or any process that happened in the way he did not expect or that was not in line with the law is free to go to court. Now, away from that, still today we are having municipalities, city division, chairpersons and councillor polls, and now we urge you to go and vote this particular day. The Electoral Commission has urged people to turn up in large numbers and vote for the right leaders and vote in accordance with all the election procedure, not to be violent at the polling stations. And still now people are saying that they may not turn up in large numbers as expected, and as the Electoral Commission has been asking, given the fact that even the just concluded mayoral elections, people did not turn up as expected. There was low voter turn-up, something now the Electoral Commission has asked the people to always turn up. We have been seeing drives within the town here asking people to turn up and vote. We are waiting to see how people turn up today to vote for their leaders, and we ask you to go and vote. It is your right to vote. Go and vote for that right person you want to see in that office. Please vote wisely, not because they have given you gifts. Vote for the right leader who will serve your interests as citizens of Uganda, and please do it today and maintain peace in whatever you do. If you go out to vote, do not leave violence there. Do not be the cause of violence. We still want to see you alive and happy, but after doing that responsibility of yours, going out and voting, it is your right to vote. Please do not leave it for any other individual. Go and vote. Now, yesterday still, the NRM government was celebrating 40 years anniversary since they came into power in 1986. After conducting a guerrilla war against the Obote regime, President Museveni, as the leader, became president on the 26th of January 1986. And now yesterday they were celebrating 40 years of being in power. And they had a lot to talk about. They had a lot to even share with the people, saying that the NRM government being in power for all this long, Uganda has benefited greatly. They are now growing at 7%. The economy of the country is growing at 7%. Something President Museveni says it is worth celebrating, that it had not happened before. Uganda was so backward, and he has improved, not even improved in his word, he said revived the economy, which was collapsing, and he has revived the agriculture sector, the industrial sector, that so many sectors have been revived that by the time the NRM government came into power, Uganda was collapsing, was a failed state. But President Museveni has now, with his people, has improved every sector, has revived it from where it was, and that Uganda is now steadily growing. And he also talked about the opposition figures who he says are using a terrorist approach. And he has warned them that the government will not keep quiet. His government will not keep quiet. He even urged the police to work upon some of the people that have been pushing the gospel of "you are the ones forcing President Museveni onto us." In the direct translation of their Luganda slang, which they say, "Mwe mutusibyeko akasajja," something he says that is a terrorist approach of politics, and that whoever has been prioritizing that should face the law, and that the police shouldn't even be quiet, as some people utter out statements like that, seeing others as a problem for voting now the president back into office. That whoever voted Museveni has been receiving these threats of "you are the ones forcing him onto us," referring to President Museveni, that all the voters voting for him are the ones keeping him in power, and that President Museveni will not tolerate such a manner in Africa and here in Uganda. All the people doing that are doing it unlawfully, and that no one should be threatened. Something he links to the low voter turn-up in the just concluded presidential elections. He says over 7 million people, 7 million of his voters did not turn up and vote because of these threats, probably from the opposition figures, whom he referred to as terrorists, that are using the wrong approach against the people of Uganda. He said this protest vote has scared a lot of voters from coming and voting, being afraid of even risking their lives to come at the polling stations. And he has urged the police to work very strongly and make sure this system is stopped of threatening people regarding their political beliefs. We thank you for being part of us from the very beginning of the Mighty Global News Updates. The princess is already here in studio to delve deeper into today's topic of discussion. Do not forget to subscribe to our channel if you're watching us for the very first time. Good morning for now.
The Alternative Dig Talk. Real issues, real talk.